For years, officers Briggs and Reynolds harassed, humiliated, and brutalized without consequence, knowing they were untouchable. Then one day, they stopped two black twins, Malcolm and Isaiah Carter. The brothers were unarmed. When Malcolm pushed back, refusing to be treated like a criminal, they escalated. Words became threats, threats became force, and when Malcolm moved, they shot him dead. His brother was left beaten, handcuffed, forced to watch his twin bleed out on the pavement. Now Isaiah Carter, a Delta Force operative with a debt to settle, is coming for them. They thought their version of events would be the only one that mattered. They thought the system would erase their sins just like it always had. But this time the system won't save them. Because Isaiah Carter is coming, and nothing will stop him from getting his vengeance. The smooth black Dodge Charger coasted through the quiet streets, its polished frame reflecting the golden glow of street lights. Inside, Malcolm Carter sat behind the wheel, fingers drumming lightly. His twin brother Isaiah sat in the passenger seat, watching the well-manicured lawns roll past. You ever notice how these neighborhoods all look the same? Malcolm mused. Every house damn near identical. Isaiah smirked. Ava liked that when she bought the place. Said it felt safe. Safe, Malcolm scoffed. I bet it feels real safe when you actually live here. But for us? You think they see two black men in a Charger at this hour and think, oh, they must be visiting family? Isaiah exhaled. Malcolm, don't start. I want to see Ava, have dinner, and not think about any of this. Then Isaiah's eyes flicked to the rearview mirror. Cop car. He muttered to Malcolm's grip on the wheel hardened. The cruiser rolled past, slowing just slightly. Then came the U-turn. Well, look at that, Malcolm said. Right on schedule. The blue and red lights flared to life. Malcolm pulled over. Let me do the talking, Isaiah murmured. They placed their hands where they were visible, movements deliberate, controlled. Footsteps approached. A flashlight beam swept across them. License and registration. Came the gruff voice. Isaiah reached for the glove compartment slowly. It's in here. We're on our way to our sister's house. She lives a few blocks up. The second officer, Briggs, stepped closer to Malcolm's window. Step out of the car. What? Malcolm asked. Because I said so. Isaiah spoke up. Officer, can we ask why we're being stopped? Reynolds answered. There have been reports of break-ins in the neighborhood. You match the description. Malcolm let out a sharp laugh. Oh yeah? What's that description? Black and breathing. Look, Isaiah said. We're both military officers. Delta Force. Our IDs are right there. We're just trying to visit our sister. Briggs scoffed. Then you shouldn't have a problem stepping out. The tension thickened. Malcolm clenched his jaw, then slowly reached for the door handle. The moment it clicked open, Briggs's hand went to his holster. Malcolm stepped out first, hands visible. Isaiah followed. The officers remained rigid, hands near their belts. Turn around. Hands on the car. Briggs ordered. Malcolm didn't move. For what? Because I said so. Isaiah lifted a hand. Look, officer, we understand protocol. If this is a routine stop, you can check our IDs. We don't want any trouble. Briggs examined the IDs, then exchanged a look with Reynolds. Out of town, he muttered skeptically. That's what we told you, Malcolm said. We're visiting our sister. Reynolds shifted. Yeah, and what does your sister do to afford a place around here? The implication hung heavy. Malcolm's patience fractured. Excuse me. She's a lawyer, Isaiah said sharply. Graduated top of her class. Works for one of the biggest firms in the city. That a good enough reason for you? Briggs walked back toward his squad car. Stay where you are. They're stalling, Malcolm muttered. Running our names like we're goddamn criminals. When Briggs returned, he gestured. All right. Hands on the car. Both of you. Come on, man, Isaiah said. We gave you everything you asked for. Briggs's hand went to his holster. Isaiah saw it happen in slow motion. With a slow, reluctant motion, he turned, placing his hands on the hood. Malcolm hesitated before following. The moment Malcolm's hands touched the car, Briggs grabbed his wrist. Isaiah saw the flash of fury break across Malcolm's face. Briggs's hands moved with unnecessary force over Malcolm's back. Spread your legs wider. Malcolm adjusted his stance. Man, come on. Ain't like I got a damn arsenal on me. You got a problem? Briggs asked, grip tightening. Yeah, I got a problem. My problem is some punk throwing me up against my own damn car like I just knocked over a convenience store. Mal, Isaiah warned. Listen to your brother. Boy. Briggs muttered. Malcolm jerked. Boy. Isaiah moved instantly, blocking him. Malcolm, stop. Not here, not now. But Malcolm's breath was coming too hard, too fast. Briggs reached for his handcuffs. We're detaining you both. Detained for what? Isaiah stepped forward. Resisting a lawful search. Possible obstruction. That's a lie. Malcolm snapped, jerking away. Briggs grabbed Malcolm's arm, yanking him toward the car. Malcolm instinctively twisted, trying to regain his balance. Reynolds gripped his other arm, pushing against his back. Isaiah reached for Malcolm's shoulder. Just go with it, man. Let go of me. Malcolm barked. Briggs shoved hard. He's resisting, he shouted. Reynolds pulled back. He's got a weapon. Isaiah saw it happen before it did. Malcolm twisted one last time, and then the gunshot cracked the air open. Malcolm jerked violently, his chest arching before his knees gave out. He crumpled onto the pavement. Isaiah's scream tore through the night. Malcolm! He lunged toward his brother, but the taser hit him full force. His legs gave out, his vision swimming. Officer down. He tried to grab my gun. Briggs was screaming. Isaiah fought against the paralysis, dragging himself forward. Malcolm lay just feet away, his chest barely rising. Malcolm, hold on, man. Isaiah's hands pressed over the wound, trying to stop the blood. Malcolm coughed, his fingers weakly grasping Isaiah's arm. His lips trembled. Isaiah, I'm sorry. No, no, don't. Hold on, just. Isaiah's voice broke. Malcolm's breath wheezed. Don't let them get away with this. No, don't say that. You're not dying, man. You can't. Hands wrenched at Isaiah's jacket, tearing him away. Get off him. He was sprawled backward, a sharp blow slamming into his ribs. Stop resisting. Isaiah gasped as he was forced onto his stomach, weight crushing down on his back. Metal clamped down on his wrists. You think you can attack us? Briggs yanked his head back. You killed my brother. Isaiah screamed. You shot him. He didn't do anything. Yeah? That what you think? 'Cause what I saw was a dangerous suspect resisting arrest. He was unarmed. You murdered him. Briggs twisted his grip harder. You know how this works, right? Who do you think they're going to believe? Isaiah's stomach twisted. Briggs stood, dusting off his uniform. We had no choice, he said smoothly to the arriving officers. A new voice cut through. What is going on here? Isaiah was yanked up by his cuffs, dragged toward a squad car. You're under arrest for assaulting an officer. Through the smeared glass, Malcolm was still lying there, still alone, still bleeding out while the men who murdered him stood over him. The last thing Isaiah saw before the door slammed shut was Malcolm's lifeless body left behind like he had never mattered at all. The night passed in fragments. Red and blue lights, indistinct voices, the cold press of cuffs. At some point the car started moving, dragging him away from Malcolm, away from the only piece of family that had ever felt like home. His mind kept looping back to hours earlier, laughing about identical houses in a neighborhood that wasn't made for them. He and Malcolm had always been together. From the moment they were born, side by side. They had fought together, laughed together, bled together. They had learned young what it meant to be feared before they were old enough to understand why. But this time, he hadn't been fast enough. He hadn't saved him. It should have been him. The precinct loomed ahead. Hands dragged him forward. They took his fingerprints, his mugshot. They took everything. And through it all, he said nothing. Time passed in a haze. Then the door creaked open. Isaiah. His head lifted. Ava stood in the doorway, her eyes wide, her chest heaving. She took in the bruises, the dried blood, the way his wrists were still bound. For a moment she said nothing. Then her breath hitched, and Isaiah realized she already knew. Ava sat down across from him. Isaiah. They killed him, he murmured, voice hoarse. They shot him in the street like a dog. Ava inhaled sharply. I know. He didn't fight them, Ava. I swear to you he didn't. Isaiah, I believe you. She reached forward, gripping his wrists. Right now I need to focus on getting you out of here. After that, we fight. She pulled out documents. I've already filed for emergency bail consideration. The police are claiming you're a flight risk. They're stalling, buying themselves time while they craft their story. So what's the plan? I filed a motion for an immediate review first thing in the morning. But I need leverage. I called every journalist I know, every activist, every civil rights lawyer. By morning, the entire city is going to be watching this case. Isaiah stared at her. You really think that's going to work? I think they want to make you disappear. But they can if we make sure the entire damn country is looking at them. She grasped his hand. I'm getting you out of here. I swear to you, Isaiah, you are not going to rot in here while they turn Malcolm into some thug who deserved to die. The moment Isaiah stepped out of the station, the air hit him like a slap. Ava was beside him, walking with purpose. Outside, a wall of reporters lined the barricades, microphones extended, cameras flashing. Isaiah, do you have anything to say? Isaiah, what happened that night? He didn't stop, didn't look at them. Ava pressed forward until they reached the waiting car. Inside, Ava exhaled. You okay? He didn't answer. No, he wasn't okay. We're going straight home. You need to rest. When they walked through the door, everything looked normal. The couch still had the deep indent from where Malcolm always sat. For a split second, Isaiah could almost pretend Malcolm was in the next room. But then reality crashed down. First thing tomorrow, we start putting pressure on the DA's office, Ava said. And if they don't do anything? Isaiah's voice was quieter now. Then we take it higher. We push for federal involvement. The days bled together. Calls were made, paperwork filed, protests grew. But every single attempt at justice was met with the same response. We're still reviewing the case. There isn't sufficient evidence. The system wasn't just broken. It was doing exactly what it was built to do. Then one night, sitting at the dining table, he heard the TV. The police chief stood at a podium. The loss of life is always unfortunate. Our officers were faced with a life-threatening situation. The suspect was hostile, uncooperative, and attempted to reach for a weapon. Briggs stepped forward. It's always difficult when situations escalate like this. We never want to take a life, but when an officer feels threatened, we have to protect ourselves. I feared for my life. I wish things had gone differently, but that man left us no choice. Something inside Isaiah snapped. Isaiah, Ava warned, cautious he didn't look at her. His nails had dug so deep into his palms they'd drawn blood. Isaiah, talk to me. You heard it, he said, voice low, scraped raw. You heard every damn word. I did. He turned toward her. And what do we do now? We keep fighting. We go back at them harder. Isaiah let out a sharp, bitter exhale. The narrative. That's all it is to them, isn't it? A damn story they get to shape until it fits what they need. Isaiah, Malcolm is dead, Ava. And they're going to walk. You know it, I know it. Every time we push harder, all we're doing is playing their game. But the system is already rigged. Isaiah, you told me to believe in the system, and I did. His voice rose. I sat here, I waited, I watched you fight for every angle. And all we've gotten is locked doors, empty statements, and those pigs standing up there calling my brother a threat. He paced. Self-defense. Fear for their lives. That's all it takes to justify murder. Ava stood. You think I don't know that? You think I don't know exactly how this goes? Isaiah turned toward her. Are you happy? Ava tilted her head. Happiness is complicated. But I'm okay. That's enough for now. That's all I wanted. And what about you? He stared at Malcolm's name in his mind. I'll be okay. She studied him. I know. But if we go outside the system, if you do something you can't take back, then they win. Isaiah shook his head. They already won. Ava knew. The moment his voice dropped like that, she knew. Isaiah, wait. But he was already gone, already walking into the night. Isaiah moved through the city with a new kind of purpose. He had always been disciplined, but this was different. This was personal that he needed to see them. Briggs and Reynolds. He needed to look them in the eye again. The way predators stalked prey before the kill. The first thing he learned was that neither of them had families. Briggs lived alone in a modest house in a quiet, mostly white neighborhood. He got home at the same time every night. No porch lights, no security cameras. Reynolds lived in a small apartment. He spent most of his time alone except for nights when he drank at a local bar near the precinct. Isaiah needed to know them. So he dug deeper. The complaints. There were so many. Excessive force, racial profiling, suspicious stops. Briggs had been accused of brutality 7 times, but every single report had been dismissed that a young man, barely 19, beaten so badly he suffered permanent nerve damage. An older black veteran pulled over, slammed against the pavement when he asked why he'd been stopped. A father arrested in front of his children for disturbing the peace when he'd simply been recording police activity. Briggs had been hunting men like Malcolm for years, and no one had stopped him. Reynolds wasn't much better. He had fewer complaints, But Isaiah could see the pattern of silence. The way he'd watched and done nothing. The way he'd backed up Briggs's lies time and time again. Isaiah found body cam footage from 3 years ago. A young black teenager stopped while riding his bike. Briggs had slammed him against the squad car, and Reynolds had done nothing. This wasn't about Malcolm anymore. This was about every single name buried under police reports. Every single man who had been Briggs and Reynolds' prey and never got to fight back. Isaiah clenched his jaw. He had all the information he needed. Now it was time to decide what to do with it. The bar was exactly what he expected, a dimly lit hole in the wall where cops gathered after shifts. Reynolds sat near the center, slouched comfortably, whiskey glass in hand. Isaiah lingered in the shadows, close enough to listen. "Man, the media's eating this case alive," another cop said. "You and Briggs going to be good?" Reynolds smirked. "You know how it is. Standard protocol, internal review, a couple weeks of paid leave, then we're right back to it." The other officer chuckled. "Gotta say, that was one hell of a shot. You sure that guy didn't have something on him?" Reynolds scoffed. "Please. If he did, we'd have found it. Planted it. Whatever it took. Doesn't matter, though. That kid sealed his own fate the second he got mouthy. I swear they never learn." Isaiah's world tilted. They were bragging. Laughing. Mocking Malcolm. Reynolds leaned back. "Briggs had to put on the whole shaking officer act for the cameras. But between you and me, we did the city a favor. Ain't nobody going to miss that guy." Isaiah barely heard the response. His ears rang. His vision narrowed. In that moment, he knew there was only one path forward. He wasn't going to fight for justice anymore. He was going to make it himself. Isaiah stepped out, letting the night air settle in his lungs. Reynolds was going to feel exactly what Malcolm had felt. The same fear, the same helplessness, the same powerlessness. Reynolds left the bar around the same time every night, usually alone. He walked to his car in the back lot, away from street lights. Too cocky to be cautious, Isaiah moved quickly, slipping around the building, staying low. He found his spot, a shadowed corner near the back fence, just beyond the security camera's range, and then he waited till he heard the bar door open. Reynolds stepped outside, comfortable, unhurried, oblivious. He reached his car, pressed the unlock button. That was when Isaiah stepped forward, letting his presence be known. Reynolds stiffened, glancing over his shoulder. Then his eyes sharpened. He knew that a slow smirk spread across his face. Well, didn't expect to see you out here, Carter." Isaiah said nothing. "What? You come out here looking for some answers?" "Man, I got to say, I respect the dedication. But I already told you, there's nothing to fight here. It was a clean shooting." Isaiah inhaled slowly. Forcing himself to stay still, Reynolds stepped closer. "Come on, don't look at me like that. It's not personal. It's just the way the world works. You and your brother made a mistake, and you paid for it. I mean, Malcolm was always going to end up dead sooner or later, right? Might as well have been me that put him down." Isaiah moved before he even made the conscious decision. His fist slammed into Reynolds' mouth. The officer staggered back. "You crazy son of a—" Isaiah was on him again. His second punch crashed into Reynolds' ribs. His elbow smashed into Reynolds' temple. "You didn't think I was going to do anything, did you?" Reynolds gasped. "All right, Carter, listen." Isaiah's knee drove into his stomach. He grabbed Reynolds by the collar, slamming him face first onto the hood. "This what it felt like when you threw Malcolm down? When you put your knee in his back?" He pressed down, forcing Reynolds against the car. "This what it felt like when you held him down and let Briggs put a bullet in him?" Reynolds struggled. You don't want to do this. You put your hands on a cop and you'll never walk free again." Isaiah yanked him back, drove his fist into his stomach. Reynolds choked. "You think I give a damn about walking free?" Isaiah grabbed him again, twisting his arm behind his back. "You ever hear a man beg for his life before?" "I have. I heard my brother plead." Reynolds' breath hitched. Isaiah pressed down harder. "You feel that? That's the feeling my brother had in his last moments." "Please." Reynolds whimpered, but Isaiah's stomach twisted at the sound. "That's the first time I've ever heard you say please. You think you deserve mercy." He closed his eyes for a fraction of a second, feeling the weight of Malcolm's absence. Then his fingers found the right point at the base of Reynolds' neck, right between the cervical vertebrae. "You ever hear what happens when you sever the right part of the spinal cord?" Then he struck. A quick, brutal jab. There was a sharp pop that Reynolds' entire body seized, then collapsed. His breath hitched, his mouth opened, but no sound came. He tried to move his legs. Nothing. He tried to speak. Nothing. Isaiah crouched beside him. That feeling right there? That's the same feeling every single man you and Briggs put down felt in their last moments. Reynolds's eyes burned with pure terror. Isaiah stood. He let himself watch Reynolds struggle, then turned away. His exit was clean, quiet. No cameras had caught him. By the time Reynolds was found, Isaiah would be long gone, because this wasn't over. Not until Briggs felt the exact same thing. Within hours, the precinct had pieced it together. They knew it was him. Isaiah watched from the shadows as red and blue lights flashed against his house. Officers moved in and out, weapons drawn at first, then lowered. He wasn't inside. He had abandoned it. Then his phone vibrated. Ava. Isaiah. Her voice was uneven. Briggs was here. He barged in. He was panicking. He put a gun to my head. He said if I don't tell him where you are, he's going to kill me first, then come for you. Isaiah's world stopped. Where is he now? He left. I don't know where. You don't have to do this, she said. The police are on you. Your house is gone. If you stop now, Ava. His voice cut through. She went silent. You know I can't stop. And you know why. There was a long pause. Yeah, I know. You need to leave your house now. Pack a bag. Go to a hotel. Pay in cash. Stay out of this. Be careful. The line went dead. Isaiah moved through the night with singular focus. Briggs wasn't just running. He was cornered, desperate. He had already gone after Ava. If Isaiah didn't stop him now, he'd go back. Days ago, Isaiah had placed a tracker on Briggs's car. The screen showed a blinking red dot weaving through the city. Briggs was moving erratically, trying to shake an enemy he couldn't see. Isaiah tightened his grip, adjusting course. He cut off his headlights, his car melting into the night. The red dot blinked. Isaiah could see Briggs's car now, just ahead, swerving slightly. Then Isaiah jerked the wheel hard. The impact was instant, metal crunching, glass shattering. Briggs's vehicle spun violently, slamming into the guardrail. Isaiah was already moving. He ripped the driver's side door open, grabbed Briggs by the collar, and yanked him out. The officer hit the pavement hard. Isaiah saw it then, the fear in Briggs's eyes. A man completely out of his depth. Isaiah's fist slammed into Briggs's face. The officer groaned, rolling onto his hands and knees. Wait, he gasped that Isaiah's boot crashed into his ribs. You weren't waiting when Malcolm was begging, were you? Briggs coughed. I didn't have a choice. Isaiah's laugh was cold. No, now you don't have a choice. He grabbed Briggs by the collar, dragging him to his knees. You like to throw people around, don't you? You like making people beg, knowing they can't do a damn thing to stop you. How does it feel now? Briggs let out a ragged breath, then smiled. You think this changes anything? You think taking me down makes you a man? You're just another angry thug, just like your brother was. Isaiah saw red. His fist collided with Briggs's jaw. He didn't stop. Again and again. Say his name. Isaiah growled. Briggs coughed, then chuckled weakly. That mouthy criminal had it coming. You know it, I know it. Your sister probably knows it too. But she's real proud of you now, huh? Watching you turn into exactly what they think we are. Isaiah didn't hesitate. His fist slammed down until Briggs went limp, blood splattering the pavement. Finally, Briggs wheezed. You think you win this? This ain't justice. This is just you signing your own death warrant. You're going to be running for the rest of your life, boy. That word, boy. The same one Briggs had used when he had Malcolm on the ground. Isaiah's jaw clenched. He already knew what Briggs said was true. There was no going back. The police would hunt him until they had him in cuffs or put a bullet in his back. But neither was Briggs. Isaiah exhaled slowly. The rage was still there, but it wasn't reckless anymore. It was finality. Briggs lay sprawled, broken, struggling. Isaiah stood over him. The fire inside whispered to finish it. One movement, one final strike. But then he was somewhere else. On the pavement, kneeling beside Malcolm. His brother's hand trembling in his breath coming in wet gasps. Don't let them get away with it. Isaiah hadn't. But death was too easy for Briggs. Death was an escape. Briggs had never known suffering, never known what it was to feel powerless, to feel his body fail him. Briggs would never get to lift a gun again, never press his knee into someone else's back. He would live, but like Reynolds, he would never walk again. Wait, Briggs choked. Please, don't. Isaiah knelt, grabbing Briggs's shirt, forcing him to look up. You were right about one thing. I will be hunted for the rest of my life. But so will you. Isaiah's hands moved with precision. His fingers pressed deep into the base of Briggs's spine. Briggs gasped, his body seizing, back arching. Before everything went still, Isaiah let go. Briggs collapsed. His chest still rose and fell, his breath still came, but his legs did not move. His arms twitched once before they too fell limp. Briggs's mouth opened. Nothing came out. You ever hear a man beg for his life before? Isaiah's voice was quiet. Because I have. Briggs let out a weak, broken sound. Isaiah stood. Briggs didn't. Isaiah turned, slipping into the darkness. Behind him, Briggs tried one last time to move. Nothing. Isaiah kept walking. His fate was sealed. The police would hunt him. But Malcolm's voice echoed. Don't let them get away with it. And he hadn't. Briggs would never hurt anyone again. The city was alive with sirens. Isaiah moved through alleys, avoiding cameras, keeping his head low. Briggs and Reynolds were both out of commission, paralyzed, useless. Every officer would be out for blood, but Briggs had made Ava part of this when he forced his way into her house. That was the one thing Isaiah had never wanted. He reached a quiet apartment building, climbed the stairs, knocked once. The lock slid open. Ava's tired eyes stared back. She stepped aside. I'm sorry, he said quietly. Ava crossed her arms. You think this is the first time they've looked at me like that? You think because I wear a suit and argue in court that they respect me? That they don't see me the same way they saw Malcolm? The same way they see you? He didn't answer. She sighed. You did what you had to do, and I can handle myself. Doesn't mean I don't regret it. Do you? She studied him. Do you regret it? He thought about Briggs, about Reynolds, about the terror in their eyes. He thought about Malcolm's last words. No, I don't. Ava nodded. Then her expression softened. I have to go. Where? Doesn't matter. He shook his head. Her jaw tightened, but she nodded. They're never going to stop looking for you. I know. She stepped forward, placing a hand on his shoulder. Isaiah, if you ever need, he shook his head. I don't want you waiting for a call that isn't coming. I need you to be okay. You're the only thing left. She nodded. Then go. Isaiah took in the moment, then turned and disappeared through the door without another word. Time moved differently now. No weeks, no months. Just the passage of days that blurred together as Isaiah kept moving, staying ahead, staying invisible. The media storm had erupted overnight. Headlines screamed about an ex-Delta Force operative turned cop killer, a vigilante who had assaulted 2 decorated officers. They didn't mention Malcolm. They twisted it, controlled the narrative. But Isaiah had planned for this. He moved through cities like a shadow. The first thing he'd done was strip himself of everything traceable. No phone, no bank accounts. The new identity had been easy enough. People who specialized in making men like him disappear, but he settled somewhere quiet, a small town tucked deep into the hills. He worked under the table, construction, repairs, anything that paid cash. The people in town knew him just enough to nod in passing, but the past never really left him. Sometimes the radio would catch his attention, reminding him the manhunt was still alive. Then one night, sitting in a quiet bar, he heard her name. Ava Carter. The news detailed the department's internal investigation. Briggs's misconduct had been exposed. Reynolds's record picked apart. The people they had brutalized, the cases swept under the rug. It had all come to light. Too late for justice. Too late to mean anything for Malcolm. But enough to make them retreat. Enough to let Ava go. She was safe. She was free. That was all he had wanted. Isaiah finished his drink, left bills on the counter, and walked out into the night. His life had become quiet now, his days bleeding into one another. But that was the price of disappearing, because Malcolm had asked him for one thing. Don't let them get away with it. And they hadn't. Reynolds and Briggs would never hurt anyone again, and Isaiah Carter was just a ghost now. Another name lost to the world. And that was how it had to be. 1 year later, the cemetery was quiet, tucked away from the noise. Isaiah stood at the edge of the path, hands in his pockets, breath slow. 1 year since he'd last seen Malcolm's face. He took the last few steps. His eyes fell on the headstone. Malcolm Carter, beloved son, devoted brother, taken too soon. Isaiah swallowed hard. Then his knees hit the ground. His hands pressed against the earth like he was trying to pull Malcolm back. The grief hit in waves. His shoulders shook, his breath hitched. For the first time in a long time, he let himself break. I'm sorry, he whispered. I tried, Malcolm. I did everything I could. I made them pay. I made sure they'd never touch anyone again. I did what you asked me to do." He exhaled. "But I still lost you." A sob broke free. "I wish you were here. I wish I didn't have to do any of it. I wish they hadn't taken you from me." His fingers traced the stone. "But I wouldn't change it. Not one damn thing." A familiar warmth settled beside him. A hand rested on his back. He didn't have to look. "Ava." She knelt beside him, silent, her fingers pressing gently against his shoulder that he closed his eyes, exhaling slowly. "You found me." Ava let out a quiet chuckle. "You think I wouldn't? Didn't know if I'd ever see you again. You needed time. And I knew where to find you when you were ready." Isaiah turned slightly, looking at her. She looked good. Stronger. Tired, maybe, but steady. "Are you happy?" he asked.